Hey everyone, this is Captain Rule reporting for duty, giving you my weekly comic book review for September 27th, 2023. All right, first of all, thank you to all of you that have been sticking around with the channel and supporting the channel. I appreciate that, as well as all the people that have been joining the channel. For those of you that are new, I grab a bunch of comic books to read each week, and I give you my views, and I give them a scale of 0 through 10, 7 being average, 70%, and I give you a really quick overview of it, my thoughts of it, as well as the view of League of Comics Geeks, all those people rating it on there, so you get more than just my view, you get theirs as well, and I want you to share your views if you read any of these as well. Alright, with that started, I'm going to go right into the first issue, which was Green Arrow number 4 of 6. I gave it a 7.1, but League of Comics Geeks said 141 out of 152 liked it with a 4 average rating. Oliver Queen vs. Parallax. Yes, we get more Parallax. Years ago, Oliver Queen died. Yep, we all know that. And was resurrected by his good old buddy Hal Jordan. But it wasn't really Hal. It was Parallax. And did no one think that would come with a cost? Yeah, to come back from the dead, I would think so. Parallax has returned to collect on that for that deal. Meanwhile, Arsenal and Black Canary's search for Oliver Queen leads them to a long-lost Green Arrow family member, which is not really that happy to be found. This issue was written by Joshua Williamson. Artist was Sean Azensky, if I pronounced it right. I thought it was decent art in this book. And we get some Hal versus Ollie, sort of Parallax versus Ollie kind of thing. It's a pretty good story. You know, I like Green Arrow. I wish he'd have his own series. You know, this is one of those characters that can be off-putting to some people because of his very, very pointed views. But that's why I like having him. Anytime you get him and a Hal Jordan kind of connection, you get to see them bouncing opposing views, even though this is Parallax version of him, not really him. Pretty good issue. If you've been reading this series, keep on doing it. If not, I gave it a 7.1. I'm not going to say you have to run out and get this mini-series. I'm still on the fence on that, but it's not a waste of money. At least it's worth some time. And speaking of worth some time, we're going to go in more time because we're going to go to somebody that can almost cheat time, and that's Dawn of DC, The Flash, issue number 1. I gave this book a 7 as well because, you know, as I said, average. And that's the thing, some months, some weeks, you get a lot of average. So, meh. And we have Dawn of DC, The Flash, racing into a new era. 255 out of 287 liked it on League of Comics Geeks with a 3.9 average rating. Wally West races towards the future with an all-new all-star creative team. Yeah, I missed the old team already. The old team was really good on Flash. Wally West has never been quicker, more fulfilled, and more heroic. His loving family is around him, and yet something is off. Really, really off. His evolving understanding of his powers has opened Wally to new adventures of sci-fi and all kinds of sci-fi things which has always been with the Flash. Come on, let's be honest. There's always something new and crazy and kooky with the Flash. It's one of the reasons we love the character. But anyway, something whispers from the dark vibrations beyond the Speed Force. And as Wally experiments with his new creative approaches to his powers, he encounters new realms, mysterious allies, and mind-shattering terrors. You know, I do like seeing him teamed up with Mr. Terrific. I think that's a nice touch. The writer is Simon Spurer, artist Mike Deodato Jr. And here's the thing, you know, I normally like Mike Deodato Jr.'s art, but the last few things I've seen him doing, I haven't cared for it very much. I just don't think he's the right fit for the Flash. What are your thoughts? Do you think he's a good artist fit for the Flash? I think he's more of a better artist fit for something a little bit more dark. So Flash just isn't doing it for me with his art style. But the story is off to a decent start. Nothing I'm going to say run out and get. I mean, I love the past Flash creative team and how well they did. You hear my pen clicking there. You might hear my notes too. But, you know, I don't know, just not just quite there with this team. But that's my thoughts. Not yours. You might think something differently. The next villain I read, I almost didn't get this one, but I am a big Red Hood fan, so I like Jason Todd, so I thought I'd give it a chance as Batman, Catwoman, The Gotham War, Red Hood #1. 79 out of 91 liked it with a 3.6 rating on League of Comics Geeks, where I gave it a 7. Yeah, we're getting a trend here of a lot of 7s, aren't we? The Gotham War has fractured the Bat family in many ways. None more interesting than with Jason Todd. This stunning event will forever alter the destiny of a man who wears the Red Hood. I'm not a fan of this whole major storyline arc. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But, since we're in there, I'll see what happens. Writer is Matthew Rosenberg, artist Nicola, and I can't pronounce that last name. I did not like the art in this issue at all. Not for me, not my art style. The story's okay, though, and I think it's because we got the Jason Todd view of why he's in it and what he's trying to get out of it, which makes sense. He's gunning for the Joker. I dig that. And I do really like how we're getting Stephanie Brown now, though, in more books. I am a fan of the Stephanie Brown character. Of course, I wish she was with Tim Drake. But I have a wonder here. Is anybody noticing how much Stephanie Brown and Jason Todd seem to be working together? I wonder if they're working towards a connection here. What are your thoughts? Are we going to see Stephanie Brown and Jason Todd together? I'm not 100% against that. Though granted, I think Tim Drake is the best choice for her. That was the best relationship in comics for a long time, or at least one of the in the top 4 anyway. But, they've done good old Tim Drake dirty. And now we're going to bounce into the next issue. This one's a little bit maybe controversial. A lot of people didn't know what to expect from this. Is it going to be good or is it going to suck? And that is Power Girl #1. 109 out of 132 liked it with a 3.6 rating on League of Comics Geeks. I personally gave it, ready? A 7. Yeah, an explosive first issue. It says the cover's pretty cool, and there's some really good variant covers for this as well. Some I liked more than others, and that's okay. The writer was Leah Williams, penciler is Eduardo Penskaya, which, once again, I apologize for butchering that name. Anyway, Power Girl starts in her own epic ongoing series. It's about time this character got her own ongoing. Pretty punchy and powerful. After the events of Night Terrors, a long-dormant Kryptonian threat has returned to take down Superman and his family. Who could possibly stop it? Well, according to the Man of Steel, it's Power Girl. Yeah, she's the one. Witness a road trip race against time as Paige reconnects with her roots to save the world from her deadly past. Yeah, so not everybody's a big fan of her with the Paige identity. I get that. I don't have a real view on that yet. I'm still let's see what happens kind of mentality, but I know some people are really against it and some are fine with it. But anyway, let's see what happens to this. So my thoughts of this, well, the writer is using way too much dialogue, slowing down the pace of this book, especially in the first part. I think sometimes when you get a first issue like this, you need to start with an explosive beginning, sort of like the cover. Jump right into some action. But I understand what they're trying to do, build characterization. I just think they did it with a little bit too wordy. There should have been more action in the beginning to launch the story and then get into the more back detailed story. But it has decent art and it's off to an okay start. The question is it going to be enough to capture people who don't really know who Power Girl is or know much about her at all to really make them want to continue reading? I don't know. Are you a Power Girl fan? I know why some people like the character. You should have something just about her that makes her different. And speaking of different, let's jump to Marvel, the Avengers #5. League of Comics Geeks had 85 out of 94 liking it with a 3.9 average rating, where I gave it a 7 out of 10. Yeah, really a lot of 7 out of 10s today. Battle Zone, we have Vatican City, God vs. Living Godhead. As Thor battles the idol Alabaster, Battle Zone, Sydney Witch versus Revenant, and the Scarlet Witch wages war upon the dead, blah, blah, blah. A lot of fighting in this issue. The writer was Jed McKay, artist Ivan Rory, which again, I butcher the names. But there was a lot of fighting, but also there was just way too much dialogue. Again, slowing this down. There wasn't, I just said there's action, but there wasn't enough. Considering what was going on and they're in a fight, it should have been an all-out action kind of issue, where it's more of talking, trying to slowly build the story. The art also was not great, especially the way the facial pictures of Sam Wilson looked. Just really not well done with those pictures. I don't get it. There is some alternate covers for this, and one of them was really, really good with the U.S. Agent and Black Knight and Quicksilver, the Falcon on it. That cover, and Miss Marvel, yes, Miss Marvel, the Beast. That cover was really, really good. There were some other really pretty good ones too, but it is what it is. I wish the interior art was that good as well. It was okay. Nothing I'd be saying you need to get on this Avengers series, sadly. I don't know. It's a little slow. It almost seems like, once again, padded for the trade, filling in too much dialogue. And I like to read. I'm a fan of reading, but the story has to be captivating enough to hold me to it, and it just isn't. The next one I read was Iron Man, the Invincible Iron Man number 10. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Boy, am I a similar thing here every issue, isn't it? We're 85 out of 89 liked it with a 4.1 on League of Comics Geeks. You are cordially, can't speak here, invited to the wedding of Anthony Edward Stark and Emma Grace Frost. Come join the lucky couple as they exchange vows. Well, maybe things aren't all really as they seem. Jerry Duggan's the writer. Artist is Juan Ferreri. Once again, I butcher the names. So that was good art. I actually have been enjoying this story. I have. And I've been enjoying this storyline. And there's some really good alternate covers for this series, for this particular issue as well. I like sort of the one with the Avengers. Sort of reminds me of the movie. They took a spin off of that and put it on there. There's also some interesting, really well done White Queen covers too. So if you're a cover collector, that might be one for you. But hey, boy, I tell you, I feel sorry for James Rhodes in this, because boy, Tony Stark is doing everything he can to protect his buddy Rhodey while he's in prison. So much though that he's getting the help of Wilson Fisk, getting other bad guys to get in prison and protect him. And I think that was pretty darn cool. That's one of the things I like about this issue. That was pretty nicely done. All right, let's go to something a little darker, a little more cutting edge. We're going to go to Blade number 3. We're 56, out of 58 liked it with a 4.2 average rating on League of Comics Geeks. I gave it a, you ready? Little bit different, 7.1. Blade possessed. In exchange for a weapon that can destroy, the Adina Blade must get his arms, dealing ex-girlfriend out of a bloody situation with some literal headhunters. Whew! I should have maybe taken a breath and not tried to do that so excitingly. But no good deed goes unpunished when he finds himself under the control of her captor. Meanwhile, the pulse of Adana's powers ripples across Marvel Universe. Yeah, not really. I think they oversold it a little bit there. The writer is Brian Hill, artist Elena Casgrande. Anyway, the art was okay at best. I think it really could do a lot better with the art in this one. The story's been pretty decent, and I will say I am looking forward to the next issue, especially since we're going to get some Doctor Strange in there. So we're going to get a Blade and Doctor Strange team up. One of the interesting things is there's an alternate cover with Blade and Captain America, but there's no Captain America in this issue, so go figure. Sad. You misled me. Which, I remember the days where you could look at a cover of a comic book and have an idea what's actually going to be in it. And we never get that anymore. Same with, especially with the art, and how the art never seems to match. But oh well. Maybe that was many moons ago that occurred. And speaking of moons ago, my transition game is on point. I read Moon Knight City of the Dead, issue number 3. 23 out of 25 liked it, with a 3.9 average rating on League of Comics Geeks, where I gave it, are we ready? A 7.5. Hey, a little bit different there. David Prepost wrote it, penciler Sean Hill. Trapped in the clutches of the sinister Jackal Knight, Moon Knight and Scarlet Scarab must face an army of dead supervillains in order to save a young runaway's life. But the city of the dead is shaped by one's thoughts and memories, and right now, the only thing Mark Spector can think of is non-stop carnage. The Fist of Khonshu brings the fireworks in this action-packed new chapter, complete with a cliffhanger that will leave Moon Knight fans on the edge of their seats. Was I on my edge of my seat? Yeah, not really, but it wasn't so bad. The Moon Knight turns into a Punisher kind of guy, though, in this issue, which is awesome. Okay, we're gonna get, Moon Knight is gearing up. He's grabbing some guns. He's gonna get the job done. Remember when we had good Punisher? Oh, I miss some good Punisher. That last series of Punisher was absolutely garbage. But anyway, this issue had good action and pretty good pacing too. The art was decent, and I'm enjoying the fun story. Being where he is sort of, in this kind of realm, they can really get away with being more dastardly, more evil, and more brutal than what they normally can. Pretty cool issue. If you haven't been reading this Moon Knight series, if you're a Moon Knight fan, you probably would like to check it out. If you're not a Moon Knight fan, okay, might not be for you, but otherwise, not bad. All right, the last issue. Yeah, the last issue that I read. And boy, I want it to be better. But here's the thing. This writer just seems to be too long in the tooth to me. And the last issue that I read was Ultimate Invasion number 4. 112 out of 125 liked it with a 3.8 average rating on League of Comics Geeks, which is higher than what I gave it, because I gave it a 7. I mean, a mid. The end or the beginning? Where it breaks out is timelines and universes collide. And maybe that's why I'm sick of multiverses. And when we're jumping through timeline to timeline, it just sort of makes everything not matter as much to me. We lose the impact of what's happening now. Iron Man must choose between the lesser of two evils, the Maker or Kang. But what secret does Iron Man know about the men behind the masks? At the end of it all, the world outside your window will be forever changed. Will it? Not really. Let's be honest. And it's written by Jonathan Hickman, penciler Brian Hitch. And there's my issue right there. Jonathan Hickman, I think, is one of those you love or hate kind of writers. I think he tends to go way too long-winded. And I think he does it here. I think he tries to be, I don't know, come off as really, really smart or something like that. I don't know what it is. It just seems like his style is too long-winded for me. I'm more of a get-to-the-point kind of person. But maybe you like that. Are you a fan of Hickman's writing? Or do you think he's more of just, let's pad the crap out of this for the trade? That's the kind of what I see when I see Hickman. It's like, okay, it's going to be a padded out story that could last, that should be probably 2 or 3 issues, ends up being 5 or 6. Decent art, and the story, I won't lie, was okay. It ends with a pretty cool ending of fighting Steve Rogers frozen in ice, sort of like a reboot of the Ultimate Universe, if you will. But that was it. But you know what? Those were what I read. What did you read? What should I have read? And really, let's have a little nice dialogue about this. So anyway, thank these people here. Without these people, this channel would not be possible. I mean that. They continue to support this channel, and you can support it too. If you like these videos, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you find yourself in a good position, we have a Patreon and Subscribe Star where you get special perks like music that you can use if you're a video maker or just to listen to. By the way, I've offered up a new store on there. Don't buy those things if you are subscribing. You get those musical songs for free as part of your Patreon and Subscribe Star subscription. So, but if you don't, and you're one-time, you just want to do a one-time donation and help, you can buy a song. So that would work out too. Thank you everybody for your time. You are all amazing. And think about this. You have the power in your hands to impact somebody positively today. So rather than going out arguing and fighting, maybe we could bring a little bit of joy into this world. All right, everybody. My soapbox is done. You take care. Have a wonderful day. And be blessed. And until next time, cheers.